Obviously, the subject of today is the fact that Notre Dame is burning, and a lot of people want me to talk about it. Unfortunately, besides the fact that I can mention that the building is indeed burning and that authorities claim not to know who or what started it, there's nothing else to add. That's pretty much the whole information. I do find it a little bit bizarre that the fire is just over and now the authorities are already ruling out terrorism or the fact that it might be arson. Like that was a little bit too quick. Usually these things take more time, but I guess the authorities will, issue a press statement soon. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about it. I can take you through a history course of Notre Dame, if you will, in case you're not from France. Maybe you do not understand why this building is so important. We are talking about a building that is not only incredibly beautiful, but is 850 years of age. And throughout its lifespan, it has endured multiple wars, it has endured religious strife, and it even endured the anti-religion sentiment of the French Revolution. Because if you guys have played We the Revolution, a really cool video game that puts you in the place of a judge during the French Revolution, you will know that the revolution was not only atheist, but they had a high distrust and I would call actual hatred, not just towards Christianity, but towards Catholicism in particular. And as such, this massive cathedral, which was a symbol of Catholicism, was transformed into a warehouse during those times, and it was left to neglect. It also managed to survive the savage ideology of communism, as the Vandals from the Paris Commune also tried to do naughty things to it. But let's take them one at a time. So first of all, the French Revolution, it called itself the Cult of Reason, as probably some of you know. And throughout this time, the cathedral was not only damaged, but it was also looted. So a lot of historical artifacts were lost because of that. The Republic government, which was established after the French Revolution, was atheist. And it dedicated the cathedral in 1794 to what they called the Cult of Reason. And unfortunately, many statues of biblical kings, which were located in the cathedral, were beheaded, and much other of the statuary were destroyed. And the Virgin Mary was replaced on the altar by the Goddess of Liberty. And one of the great bells in the southern tower, Marie, was taken down, melted, and the other bell, Emmanuel, for some reason was spared. It's in 1802 that we have the famous Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, who at the time didn't receive his coronation. They probably looked around and they said, well, this cathedral might be a nice place. So he ordered its restoration and turned it into a Catholic church again. And that's where he actually got his emperor crown 2 years later. Now, after the death of Napoleon, Notre Dame Cathedral relapses into neglect, and it actually made for a really good setting for Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was published, I believe, in 1831, if I'm not mistaken. And it will take another decade until King Louis Philippe will order the restoration of the church and gave this monumental task to one Jean-Baptiste Antoine Letuth and also another Eugène Viollet-le-Duc. I hope I'm not butchering them, but they're French, you can't blame me. And this was a long project that lasted 2 decades, which brought the restoration of its stained glass windows. And it is said that the work was of such beauty that when the savages that did the uprising of the Paris Commune wanted to destroy some good work of art, because that's what communists do, they can't create, they fucking destroy everything, they were actually talked out of it by other communist artists, which kindly suggested that instead maybe they should topple the Vedum column and leave the Notre Dame Cathedral alone, which is surprisingly what they actually did. And finally, as you can imagine, the cathedral also managed to survive 2 world wars. Its medieval glass windows, unfortunately, were destroyed during the Allied liberation of Paris in 1944. And ever since, the building has seen numerous renovations, restorations. There's, for example, the latest one I believe was in 1991, which focused on the towers and the western facades. Now, what I found interesting was that in 2017, there have been numerous structural problems due to the obviously very old age of the building. And the cathedral spokesperson told New York Times that the situation was speeding up under control. Apparently, since 95, adjusted for inflation, the French government pays around 2 million euros a year for the upkeep of the cathedral. And the Catholic Church apparently does have the right to have religious ceremonies in the cathedral for as much as it wants. And they also have tried to raise tens of millions of euros for this important cultural artifact. There's apparently around 11 million tourists by 2018 that are visiting the church. This is a place that's a lot more visited than the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower. And this is another way for the cathedral to make money, because people who want to see the bell tower or people who want to go into the crypt, they need to pay an entry fee of, I believe it's 8 euros or 6 euros or something. But, you know, given to the big number of tourists, we're talking about 11 million people paying these taxes, then yeah, the number does add up. So overall, we're talking about an 800-year-old building that has managed to stay with France through the wars. It managed to stay through France during World War I, where the Germans have definitely changed the landscape of Paris through innumerous bombardment, and the cathedral was surprisingly left unscathed. It managed to stay with the French throughout World War II, that had Nazi Germany take occupation of France, and even though Hitler gave the order that Paris should be left a heap of burning ruins before the Allies could take it, fortunately enough, the Allies did manage to win D-Day landings without putting much serious of a fight. So soon after, the Germans managed to lose control of Paris without managing to damage the cathedral more than required. And that's pretty much its history. Now, take into account that I am reading this video on April the 16th, so we don't have any other information, don't know what else is going on. What I suppose it's going to happen, there's going to be a lot of speculation, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to point the blame towards either the yellow vests, but also towards Muslims, and the press, the mainstream media is going to use those couple of comments, is going to use those couple of people to say that, oh, you are promoting hatred towards the population. And you're going to see like massive censorship online, like people who talk about Notre Dame, or people who are, pointing out to various inconsistencies. They're going to be labeled conspiracy theorists, and everyone who even remotely suggests such a thing is going to be called out for censorship. That's at least my thought. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we won't see this happening. But, as usually, we'll see. Unfortunately, I am very rarely wrong these days. To me, it was just a little bizarre that so quickly they managed to say that they're ruling out a terrorist attack. Like, how? How can you, the fire was barely put out. And don't you need a forensics teams or something, especially in such a massive building? Unless you have like an eyewitness that tells you what happens, that I guess that would be a possibility. Someone said, yeah, I was just leaving and through the window I saw this oil lamp that all of a sudden shifted and fell on the ground and like woof, inferno, and then it's like, okay. But unless you have like that type of witness, then I don't know how they ruled it out. But anyway, right, maybe I'm wrong, so do let me know what you think in the comments section. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like a video, remember what my mom always said. If you don't have something nice to say, better don't say it at all, so do not thumb it down. And more importantly, if you really want to help my channel and you want to help me out so that I sound a little bit more cheerful, consider becoming one of my subscribe stars, link in the description. Or, you can give me a super chat as well. That also works. And I hope you guys had a great time. I did enjoy making this video, and I look forward for seeing you guys next time.